and welcome back to my channel where we talk all things personal development, creativity, spirituality, healthy living, Disney, and so much more. I am Jess and I'm so grateful that you are here. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit subscribe to this channel so that you can stay tuned to all of the fun things that we talk about over here. Today's video is an introduction to meditation with 10 tips for beginners. I think that this video is so important, especially now as we all work to cultivate our own inner peace and inner sense of well-being despite everything that is going on in the world. When we are in alignment, we can shine that light out into our communities, into our families, and beyond, way beyond what we think is possible. It's totally normal to be intimidated by the whole idea of meditation and think that there's some right way to do it. And I am here to normalize that, to tell you you can be intimidated by it and it's totally doable. You've got this. It's going to change your life, transform your life for the better. With that, let's just get started. Tip number 1 is to create a sacred space. Now, what do I mean by this? You are simply creating an intentionality in the room, in the space, just this physical little bubble where you will be practicing your meditation. The way I do this is I might light a candle, or incense, or Palo Santo has been something I've been using more recently, and to just kind of clear the air of any stagnant energy within myself or just in the room, getting myself here in this space. Also making sure that you're comfortable. I like to sit on like a bolster or a pillow because it helps. It's more comfortable if your hips are a little bit higher than your knees. It makes it just easier to sit up straight. Step number 2 is probably one of the hardest steps for most of us, and it's the reason why some of us who have intentions to meditate don't necessarily get there, and that is to ground down in this moment, to let go of the to-do list and know that it will still be there, and to allow yourself to truly land here. Okay, so how do we do this? Something that really works well for me is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method. You just look around you and name 5 things you can see. And then you're going to settle in and notice 4 things that you can hear. Then letting that go, you notice 3 things that you can feel. So maybe just the feel of the fabric on your skin, the air conditioner, your hair on your neck, whatever that may be for you. Letting that go, you notice then 2 things that you can smell. And then finally 1 thing that you can taste. It doesn't matter which sense you start with necessarily. The point is that you are just getting present to where you are and what the experience is like in this space at this moment. Third tip is to incorporate breath work into your practice. I think this is the most important thing we can do, because when we bring, again, that intentionality and that consciousness to the breath, we can tap into the parasympathetic response, the rest and digest state that allows us to sink into a deeper meditation and to feel just more at peace in our lives. I could make an entire video on breathwork, and let me know if you would like to see that in the box below. But for the purpose of today's video, I am going to be talking about box breath, or equal ratio breathing. This is something I personally do the most out of all of the breathwork practices, just because it is very grounding. It does help you to relax, to really tap into the parasympathetic response. In this practice, you're just inhaling for a count of like 5 or 10 seconds, depending on what feels most comfortable for you. And then you hold that breath at the top for the same amount of time, 5 or 10 seconds. And then you exhale for 5 or 10 seconds slowly and with control. And then after all of the air has been removed from your lungs, you hold that breath again before your next inhale for 5 or 10 seconds, essentially creating a box where every part of your breath is equal, hence the name equal ratio breathing or box breathing. My next tip for you would be to repeat silently to yourself a mantra, something that you are currently creating for yourself in your life. For me, creating the possibility of love, joy, and confidence within myself, within the people that I meet, and within the world, in my heart, with my words, and with my thoughts. This is something that I like to repeat either out loud or silently to myself right before I sink into my meditation, and it just deepens that intention. It makes it like subconscious and rooted into you, and it's really beautiful and just creates for a more fulfilling practice, in my opinion. Also, at this point in your practice, you could whip out some manifestation cards if there's something that you're manifesting for yourself, creating for yourself in your life, and read those silently or out loud to yourself, really rooting down into the energy of how that feels and connecting with that energy, because you know it's good. I have here 2 cards that I created during the 30-day runway series, which if you haven't checked that out yet, you definitely should. I will link the playlist for that in the description box below this video. Okay, so tip number 5 is to incorporate a body scan. So at this point, your eyes are closed down, you're sitting comfortably, either cross-legged or, in your chair with your feet planted firmly on the ground, palms perhaps resting on the thighs, and you just move down slowly through the body. So just noticing like the scalp and the top of the head, the temples, the little furrow between your brows, and even like your cheeks, your shoulders. So often there's so much tension there, and as you bring that consciousness, your awareness to each body part as you move slowly down, you just see where you can soften just a little. Okay, so step number 6, the meditation itself. What do you do? There's so many options here, and it's really just a matter of your preference. But essentially what you're doing is you're just noticing. You're noticing the thoughts, you're noticing your breath, and you're not judging anything. You're not saying you need to clear your mind. There's nothing to do here, but it's really a practice and an allowance. And as you continue to practice, you'll start to notice a pause between thoughts. You'll start to notice a spaciousness, and the more you do this, the greater that spaciousness will become. Something you might choose to do is just notice your breath without controlling it, without changing the breath. We've already done the breath work. You've allowed it to return to its natural state. Maybe you just notice where you feel it in your body. If that's really a challenge, just counting the breath up to 10. So inhale 1, exhale 2, inhale 3, exhale 4, and you get to 10 and you start over. That can help anchor the attention. You might choose a visualization meditation where you just sit there silently and imagine a light pulling down through your body, flowing all the way through you, cleansing, healing every single cell in your body, rising up through the feet, coming back up the body, out the crown of the head, if that resonates. You could focus on a beautiful light radiating out from your heart space. With every exhale, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's taking up the entire room. You can even imagine sending that love and that purity of heart and intention out to the people you most love. You could also choose to do a mantra meditation where you repeat silently a mantra in your mind. Something I like to do is repeat Sat Nam, which means truth is my identity. And this brings me to tip number 7, which is to use a guided meditation. There are so many available online. I have found that these were incredible early on in my meditation practice. Now, if you're like, where do I find them? You could find them on YouTube for one. You could also download a meditation app. One app that I absolutely love and have been using in my practice on a very consistent basis is Insight Timer. Yes, they have a ton of guided meditations on there, and you will find so many resources there for you, but what I use most often is the timer in and of itself. Tip number 8, and this one has also been incredibly helpful for me, is simply to label your experience as it happens. We are never going to stop thoughts. All we are doing is just noticing. So when I find that I am like, whoa, I'm off on a rabbit trail, wow, that happened fast, what I do in that moment is I just say, thinking. I don't judge it as good or bad or that I'm not meditating properly. I just notice. The same thing goes for like an emotional experience or a bodily sensation that you might be having. Feeling. I just label it as feeling, and then I move on. Step number 9, incorporating sound. Something that I love and something that really opened everything up for me in my own meditation practice was incorporating binaural beats. And it really, really helps me stay connected to the present moment. And so that can be profoundly supportive in your meditation practice. Tip number 10 is don't judge yourself. If you have 45 minutes to sit and you do that, amazing. Now, whether you are meditating that long, which is incredible, or if you have 15 minutes to sit, or if you have 5 minutes to sit, get into the habit of doing it and not saying, I need to have 45 minutes or I need to have a whole hour to do it or else I can't do it at all. As you practice this more, you will notice more benefits in your life. You will notice an ability to be more present, and you will notice your ability to be that pause, that spaciousness between an impulse and an actual response. Like, you will feel that you don't have to react just because you have an impulse. You'll feel this spaciousness inside of you in a power, and it's really beautiful, and it's so worth the practice. It's so worth being with the resistance that comes up, the thoughts that come up. It's all part of it. There's not some path that you can take to avoid that. It is the path. When you just sit with yourself for 5 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever that is for you, you are signaling to the universe that you are worthy of sitting with. Isn't that beautiful? And it starts with you giving that to you, and from there it grows. So those are my top 10 tips for beginning your meditation practice. I am so proud of you for being here and for even just exploring the possibility of creating a meditation practice in your life. It will transform your life and your relationship within yourself, which is the most important relationship that we have. So I am so happy that you are on this journey. Now, if you are someone who is seeking additional support on your journey, don't worry, I've got you. I am a creative coach, and I blend these breathwork and meditation practices that I'm sharing with you, as well as yoga and storytelling techniques, to support you as you release your limiting beliefs and then adopt powerful new truths that really resonate with who you are at your essence, allowing you to feel more connected to your intuition, feeling more inspired and empowered, and just happy and delightful in your day-to-day life. Now, if that is something you are interested in, I will leave my email in the description box below, and you can reach out to me there, or you could send me a DM over on Instagram and I will respond to you within 24 hours. So with that, I hope that this video served you. I'm so proud of you for being here. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, keep feeling good. Bye guys.